Good evening. That is Joe Hop's Summer Vibes, making me dream of summer. It's very, very spring-like, and I was noting as we were driving home earlier this afternoon that everything is green. Everything is green now. None of this budding little bits on the tree. It is full leaf all over, as well as the grass and everything else. We drive through what is part of a city forest. I mean, it is a forest. It's a woods. I mean, it's a lot of acreage. You have to call it a forest. In fact, it's called Jefferson County Forest. And we drive through that coming home. And I am so in tune with the seasons. I am so like every season is important to me for one reason or another. And spring, of course, is a lot of beginning stuff. All about beginnings, start overs, redos, and young things, sweet young things. It's just, yeah. Hi, Kay. Good evening. So springtime is wonderful for its various reasons. It can be fierce. It can be too wet and muddy. It can be a lot of things, as all the seasons are. But today was one of those epitome perfect days and beautiful. And we got to sit outside and eat some pizza at where we went, and that was really, really nice. A little getaway. So I, yesterday, got into a spring cleaning mood that did not involve my house, did not involve anything else, but it involved my various and sundry fiber places in the house. Storage, processing, wheels, that kind of stuff. And I did a big shuffle, reorganization, little bit of inventory taking as far as what I know I need to work on yet. I was astounded to find, because I just kept putting it in boxes and putting it away where I store a lot of boxes. I was astounded to find 5 full boxes of handspun yarn. I got to do something with it. So at least now it's all together, and that helps a little bit, because sometimes I spin a certain part of a fiber project and it'll go, and then I go to something else, and it will be nice to try and sort that out and get all the skeins together, or put skeins together that will work together if they're not enough to sell by themselves, which I think in most of my cases that's what I'm going to have to do. So anyway, I felt a little more organized with that, and I have a great desire to get a lot of spinning done. I keep toying with the idea of spinning every day, even though it's, not the Tour de Fleece yet. Just adding that, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I know that I wouldn't start till next week, because and there we go, I've put it off already. No, because we are going to be gone all day tomorrow. I'll have Saturday at home, and then we'll be gone all day Sunday and Monday. So best not to plan that right now until we get that over with. So I'm going to try and finish these last few bats. I have about 4.5. I'm spinning on Yara. It was the ewe lamb. I carded up into bats after I dyed it, an antique mauve color. I have 1 bobbin full. I'm filling the second bobbin. I have some yarn already spun from a lighter version when I did the dye pot. This was first, and then I did the dye pot to sop up the remaining dye, and those came out lighter, so those are done. So this project's just about done. And at some point in time, I've got all my notes for the year pulled together, and I need to jot down, along with these skeins of yarn, their yardage and everything, details on it. So I have that gathered. Okay, let's go spin. I'm tired tonight though. We packed quite a bit of errands into today, and we're going to be doing more errands tomorrow. Hubby got his hair cut, and we got some things purchased that we needed to purchase. We went out to eat. We specifically wanted to go to a German place that we have here called Gordon Biersch, and it's a brewery. They make their own wine, and we knew they'd have Maybach, which is a seasonal beer that breweries often make this time of year, and they make it. So we've been waiting for that, and today was the day we got to go. Hi, Guitar Nut. Hello, hello. Welcome. How are you this evening, Kate? How are you, Guitar Nut? How was your week? And it's almost the weekend. Guitar Nut, I have enjoyed immensely all the posting that you do on Discord. I really do. I enjoy the communication, and I enjoy the pictures. And I am looking forward to my getaway, which will be Sunday and Monday. We'll be back on Monday. My spinning wheel has quite a bumping sound. I can kind of get it lessened, less if I put my feet a certain way on the treadles. It is driving my husband crazy. He thinks that this wheel is faulty. I don't believe it is. I certainly don't have any trouble spinning on it. But it is a little weird that certain places, if I put my feet certain places, I can have less noise than some places. Hi, Knots and Stitches, welcome. This is the last of the ewe lamb. I bought a fleece. It was only labeled as ewe lamb. They did not have a breed on it. And I washed it and dyed it and drum carded it. And I had, I think, 25 bats, which probably is close to maybe 2 pounds, or I'm sorry, a pound and a half. 24 ounces. So it was a small fleece, but still, it's made a nice amount of yarn. I've loved the color. Very, very happy with the color. Tarnut says, your week has been great but busy. You have an old college friend coming to visit for the weekend, so spend a lot of time cleaning. I wish you had a team cleaning. I think that was Freudian. A lot of time cleaning and preparing for that. Yeah, I'm sure. I purposely don't have company at my house. I do clean. I just, it's our level of standard for cleanliness, not companies. Anyway, nuts and stitches. I have 4 more of these bats left. I'm really hoping to get this done tonight. This is the second bobbin, so I have a bobbin I can ply with it. So close to being done, yes? Case has been a week at work, but now it's done and you can just veg out. Oh, that's good. Lily says, it's about time you had time to pay attention to me. My cat has been having spring fever really bad too. He's not running around. I mean, he's not leaving the property or anything, but he is not wanting to come into the house. He wants to be out at night, and he's just enjoying being outside again. Hubby and I sat on the porch last night for quite a while before dinner, which ended up being around 8:30. But it was nice. It was real nice. That join didn't do too good. Let's see here. Not sure why it didn't wrap right. There we go. We have rain predicted though for the next couple days. I think our nice weather is over with until maybe Monday. So maybe he'll come back in. Newman was sitting on the porch. It's a concrete and brick wall on the porch, with a, I don't know what to call it, concrete top. That's where I put all my plants in the summertime, but there's nothing out there right now, so he was sitting there bird watching, and there was a sparrow flitting around, just giving him heck. And, Newman didn't even try to go after it. It just sat there like, you could just almost see, he's like, yeah. You are living because I choose to let you live. more than likely, that sparrow has a nest in the big bushes that are in front of our porch. It was probably doing its come after me. Don't go after my nest. Come after me. I saw the neatest thing one time. I have a long lane, and it's gravel, or it's not gravel. It's creek rock. Okay, so it's better than gravel, right? It's all these different pretty, or just different kind of rocks, and it does wear down. You drive down it, right? So it wears down on two sides, but the middle is still like gravel, and it's gets grassy, but it still has gravel under that grass, and it's a little higher than where the car tires are. And I was walking down that lane one day, and about walked on a bird. There was a bird who had laid its eggs without making a nest directly in a clump of grass in the center with the rocks. And the eggs looked like rocks. They were brown and speckled and everything. And I mean, they were round and small, but they looked like rocks. And I thought, oh my God, somebody's going to run over that birds. They're going to run over those eggs or blah, 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 and I fussed about that all that day. And the next day, hubby and I went down there. I wanted to show him. I was trying to decide what to do, whether I should mess with it or not. And do you know, the eggs were gone. Now, one or two things. Either the chicks hatched, the birds hatched, or something ate the eggs. I don't know. I don't want to know. And I was like, well, that solves that, because they were gone. I know that sometimes birds don't make the very good decisions. They're ready to lay those eggs, and they just lay them. Well, you got some knitting done today, then. That's wonderful. I've been crocheting on my sweater. Not knitting, but crocheting. I'm working on the back, which is basically a rectangle. So, it's very easy. I don't have to follow a pattern or anything. And reasonably thick yarn. It's going pretty quick. But I don't do it more than an hour or so at a time. Yeah, they are pretty dumb. I don't think they're dumb. I think they're just driven. Driven by hormones or nature or whatever. Life essence. Anyway, I'm sitting here trying to remember what kind of bird that was. I believe it was a bigger bird than a sparrow. I mean, it was more the size of a robin and brown, and so I think it might have been I don't think it was a mockingbird. We have a lot of mockingbirds around. I'm not real sure. I thought I knew at the time, but I can't remember now. Your Guitar Nut says, my quail, I swear, are so bad. I have no idea how they live in the wild. I have quite a few of those. Of course, I don't know if they're quail or, we have another name for them. Boy, I'm having a terrible time tonight. I don't have many anymore. I had quite a few before they started farming the piece of land that's in front of my house. For a while there, it was just meadow, and that's when I had them. I even saw baby quail, but yeah, we they farm that now, and I think they went away. They found another place to live. They may be off more in the woods. You love listening to mockingbirds. Aren't they amazing? I mean, it is. It's just amazing. The sounds they can make. Whippoorwill is another one we have. And we have one that calls during the night. In the summertime. I don't hear it. It must be coming in from somewhere else. I don't think it lives here year-round. What you knitting? Knots and stitches. What you working on? She may not be reading chat. That's why. Thought if I said something, if she's listening. Mockingbirds don't care about time of day. What gets me is the mockingbirds, male, I think it's the male, sits on top of a phone pole that's near our front porch. And he actually dances while he sings. While he's singing, he jumps up and down. Uh-oh. Oh, you're working on some socks. Okay. All right. We just had a glitch in the electric. But it looks like it didn't break me. I'm not getting any messages anyway. My live timer is still counting, so lost my internet one morning this week. It used to be a real regular thing. We used to have a lot of trouble with it, and it's been a while. They for a while there they were doing a lot of work. They even sent out information with the bills saying, this is what's going on. We're working on the infrastructure, and you'll see it mostly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. A whole bunch of stuff like that, which was not really true. It would come and go whenever it seemed to want to, but we haven't had it for a long time. And it went out not this morning. It went out one day this week. I think it might have been Monday morning. I'm listening to a really good book. I don't know the author, sorry. I got it from my local library, but I saw it reviewed or mentioned in one of the podcasts I was listening to. But anyway, It's called the Catherine House, but it's spelled with a C, Catherne, and it's kind of mystery, kind of um, yeah, coming of age, academia. It's got me hooked. It's well written, and I'm enjoying it. So I have been staying awake in bed listening to book after I go to bed. Come on, there we go. Your bobbins are all full. Okay, how are you gonna apply? You're gonna have to wind balls off, right? Flying balls, or just I wind. I have a yarn ball winder, and I keep track of the end that's in the inside, so that I can grab that and I apply inside outside. Now, I will admit I don't do that with large amounts of yarn. I do that more after I've applied two bobbins and I have single left on a bobbin, right? So I'm not dealing with a huge amount of yarn. It can collapse on itself and get to be a snarled mess. I have had that happen. So you have to be really, I stick the ball, I stick my fingers, make sure I keep that inside open while I'm doing it. But that's how I handle small amounts. Large amounts, I have not done the flying ball like JK does. Crafty lady, good afternoon to you. Welcome, and I hope you are doing well. Long work day, but time for some fun. Yes, indeed. Got a question? Ask Discord community. I'll tell you, got some great minds there. If I could just get an answer to my question of how can I get more done in a day, which unfortunately I think means turning the clock back about 20 years. And yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. Aww. Knots and stitches. I assume that you didn't let it chew on it. I unless it's your baby and you want the teeth marks for prosperity, right? Posterity, or whatever that word is. He just wanted to play with your toy. That's right. That's just about the right age where they're learning, like, oh, look, that person has a toy too. You are right. That's what it was. Crafty Lady, you're talking about the loom that you put on Discord. You bought yourself one of those small looms and darn fixed a pair of socks for your mother-in-law. It works really well. Oh, you got me really intrigued. I think, I try to do it on the linens for very small holes because I'm not going over a large area. Right. And it works without the loom. But I'm not probably doing more than 10 stitches one way and then 10 stitches the other way, and I have the hole closed, right? That I won't do big holes on the linens. But it definitely could work. I could see that it could work on a larger hole. If I could find regular sewing thread, I think would be too thin. I'm not exactly sure what I would want to use. Maybe I think pearl thread would be too thick. Yeah, right. Whereas these fairly large holes in the heels of the socks, so a woven patch, both outside and inside, has reinforced them as well. Okay, yeah, right. Well, that is a big area that often used to get darned with. You had the darning eggs and everything, and I know that there's a definite method to darning that you probably were really doing the way they used to. For all the years that I have made socks, I have never worn a hole in one, and it's in a sock because I don't wear them heavily every day or whatever. I save the wool ones, for when it's winter and I need warmer socks. My cotton ones wear pretty good. I don't know, I have not ever had to darn a hole in a handmade sock. I also almost always wear shoes, and that has something to do with it too, because if you walk around and in the house with just your socks, and I do that with my store-bought cotton socks, I will walk around. But to be honest with you, I'm to the point where I almost have to wear shoes to be stable walking. So I think that has a lot to do with it, is the fact I'm wearing shoes, so I don't wear the socks out. For the linen, what about using one of the thicker quilting threads? Yeah, that would work. Or for that matter, you could use embroidery. I'm not sure embroidery would be strong enough to go through a lot of laundry. Quilting thread is definitely strong, though. That would work good. I think you're right. I think that's... I don't know. Don't they make some quilting thread that is waxed or reinforced somehow? Also, I'm not real sure if they still do that or not. But yeah, that's what. Other than that, I can take regular sewing thread and put 4 strands together, but that doesn't like to sew well. The strands don't want to go through at the same time, and you can get knots. They make some silk though. That would be stronger. Very nice evening. Chain plying with virtual friends. Oh, you're going to chain ply it. Well, aren't you smart? I didn't even think about that. I don't weave. My daughter does. Cotton lin. Okay. I thought that would be too. I know that that's true. They have weaving threads in different weights. Guitar Nut says, do you have a suggestion for thread for my denim patch? I'm very illiterate when it comes to sewing and the things of that nature. Yeah, I just automatically assume everybody knows about sewing. And, that's not fair, because I just happen to know it because somebody taught me. My mom taught me. Crafty Lady says, chain plying is my favorite. Even do that when you use your drop spindles. So I have a finished yarn when the cup is full. Yeah. Yep. It's very easy to chain ply from a single on a drop spindle. You don't have to take it off. You only have your little repair kit. Well, that's your first problem. You better go buy yourself a big spool of thread. It depends on how you want to patch it. You want to make it colorful or plain? You don't mind it being colorful. That would be cool. Okay. Well. What was it in the 60s? They used to use that iron-on patching stuff in all these different colors and make flowers and all sorts of stuff. That was part of the image for the 70s. Well, then the sky's the limit. Check out a few of the YouTube tutorials and you get some inspiration. Oops. What did I do? If you want it to be a finer weave, you could use a thin crochet cotton. Yeah, I was just sitting here looking at this. This is, and of course it comes in many, many colors. This is about the right, really. That's this regular crochet cotton, and I don't know what this is. My label's gone, but it's thin. It's real thin. Yeah, and it's not expensive. That's right. Or if you want something thicker, you can use a lace weight yarn, embroidery floss, or even weaving cotton. Yeah, and you choose based on, like, jeans are thicker and linens are thinner. I mean, you choose on what your base is as far as thickness. I had so much of this to card into bats. Like I said, I ended up with like 24, 25 bats. I got really... I did not card stuff more than one time. I should have. That's why I'm sitting here picking through, pulling out stuff that really I should have caught the first time I carded as a bat. Pull it out, look at it, pull that stuff out, and then re-card it. It makes wonderful bats that way if you take the time to do it. And now, I saved time then, and I'm putting the time in now. Am I going to make a sweater with it? No, I won't have. This was a lamb's fleece, so I will definitely have enough for a vest, though. I can make a vest. Probably that's what I'll do. But unless I make a short sleeve sweater. I have actually never knit a short sleeve sweater. That is also a possibility. And this is kind of a nice spring color. So I might look into that, see if I have enough. Because I have two colors. They're both this color, but one's darker and one's lighter. So I would have to arrange the colors on it. But I might be able to get enough for a short sleeve sweater. That would be pretty. That would be really pretty. Get some... It's all the same, color. It's not multicolored, so put some texture in the stitches for interest. Tarnet says, I've been wanting to order enough fiber to do a sweater quantity. Been looking at the Natural Color Blueface Leicester. Oh, that is a nice fleece. Very pretty on the cheaper side and be fun to spin. And yes, I love Blueface Leicester too, better than Merino, to be honest with you. Especially, now, I don't know. You're looking at already processed though, like roving, right? Sometimes it's hard to find roving in natural color. That's why I end up buying so many fleeces. I have, when I did my inventory thing this week, I have 4 fleeces to wash. And I have 2 mammoth already washed that need combed. One is a Texel Ramondale, I think. Yeah, Ramondale Texel cross. It's a brown gray. And the other one is Black Shetland. And I want to comb those. I want to try and make those nice and fine. And I can take what my waste from my combing and card it and make a chunkier yarn that would make good, hats and scarves and donate kind of thing. But for the main use of the fleece, I want to get a really nice lace weight yarn or go twice as thick and do a sweater out of the not the Black Shetland, out of the Ramondale Texel, the brown gray one. It's a really pretty color. It's good wearing fiber too. Yeah. We seem to all be on consensus here. Everybody likes Blueface Leicester. I like Border Leicester too. It's a little coarser, not quite as soft for next to the skin. A lot depends on the fleece though. But the colors are very similar between Border Leicester and Blueface Leicester. The Leicester part of them is what gives you that nice medium to longer locks, so it's really easy to spin. Open crimp, The Black Shetland is probably, I'm aiming towards what I enter it in the fair, under 100% wool, natural color wool. Hubby saw that the other day when I had the bag on. He says, "Did you dye that?" I was like, "No, that was a black sheep." just something about how it feels in the hands while spinning. Yeah. I think all wool, real, unprocessed wool feels that way. Um, I always say it's organic feeling, but organic has gotten a different term now, with all the organic foods and stuff, but it feels alive. It has life in it. I have one bat, so I look at. They all look lighter than what I'm spinning right now. It's all right. I like that little bit of variation. Plus, it could just be the light shining on it. You're thinking about mixing Easter egg dye and putting fun colors on some roving. Yes. That's fun. That's lots of fun. The other way is if you have like big jars, right? Pickle jars or whatever that you can empty and clean. Put your dyes in there and then kind of curl your roving up in that jar. You can do it one of two ways. You can put the roving in first wet and then pour your dye in, or drop it into the jar, which is a little messier because your dye is going to come out. But that is a lot of fun. Put it out in sun then, and you're making sun-dyed tea, sun-dyed fiber. Yeah, even Kool-Aid will work. I dyed in an old crock pot filled with Kool-Aid. I finally got rid of the crock pot because it really was, I wasn't using it for food, and I had a pretty bad frayed cord on it, and I was like, it's not worth. I can dye other ways, so I did finally get rid of it. But yeah, that was, you just plug it in and let it cook for as long as you want with Kool-Aid. Got a very pretty color. C10 Fiber, yep. Oh, Sun Tea Fiber, great name for a business. Sun Tea Fiber. I'd have to live in a different state. I don't get enough sun. I need to live in sunny California to open that business. I can just see, a walkway lined with the jars. It'd be so cool. You do, yes, okay. Use it. If you got it, use it. Some of your plants in the garden are already 12 inches high. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a little heat doesn't hurt at all. Even if you're got it in the sun, but you can keep it warm, and that's just only going to make it better. Put a little vinegar in there. Don't forget the vinegar. It's an acid dye. Gotta have that. Even, I don't know, probably not with the Kool-Aid. I'm talking about regular dyes now. A little vinegar never hurt. Alright, let's find some other music here.
Better stick your head in the fridge or something.
You'll maybe dye some of your Angora. You have too much to do as it is, I know. Crafting Lady says, I wish too, our spring has only been just started. Most of the snow's melted, Quebec City. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You've really enjoyed this move. You like where you live now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Central Ohio gets a lot of snow. It has a long winter. I mean, it has a lot of humidity. I don't know if you have the humidity, but that can be miserable too, along with the heat. You've started your veggies in your hydroponic inside. And you have string beans you can pick. Oh my gosh. Ha! That's amazing. Huh. Crafty says we've had lettuce and spinach all winter. That's good. But tomato plants you just put outside today, and as I said, I couldn't believe there were beans already. And the 2 cucumbers have a ton of flowers. I guess you need to get them out this weekend too, yes? Well, I would question you're past your frost date. Are you past your frost date? Because we just barely passed ours. We had frost over last weekend on the ground. Just barely, yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say. Of course, I used to do that too and go out and cover them when frost was predicted. You know, I throw sheets over my garden because they were baby plants coming up. The seeds were coming up, and I'd throw a sheet over it, and they were all right. I've gotten lazy. I don't keep tabs. I don't have anything not frost hardy outside right now. During the summer, I put my house plants out on the porch, and I have to get those in the fall before it starts getting too cold, because they don't handle cold weather very well. But I never thought, I have the seed starter thing too, hydroponic, and I never thought about starting green beans. And it actually is a really good solution to one of my problems. My green beans get up to about, their third set of leaves right as all the baby rabbits come out of the hutch. Not the hutch, but out of the ground, right? The wild rabbits. And oh my gosh, it's like they have a radar. They know and beeline right to that garden and eat those beans every time. And I have often had to put like a mesh cap over them and stuff like that in order to get them past that stage. Once they get a foot tall or whatever, rabbits won't bother them. Deer might, but we've had deer. We were talking about that yesterday. We haven't seen deer hardly at all through this year, and one of the things I think draws the deer is when our apple tree puts out apples and drops a lot. And I'm not talking about ripe apples. A tree, if they put up too many apples, they'll drop them so that they can mature some apples. A tree just naturally does that. And the deer love those green apples. They come and they munch those all up. The very first year I saw my apple tree do that, I was like, oh, I got to go out there and rake up all those apples. I can't let them rot on the ground. That's not good for the tree. That's it. If there's any disease, it'll propagate it, and on and on and on. All the garden stuff that you read and know. And I went out there with the rake a couple days later because I was working, didn't get out there right away. There wasn't a single apple on the ground. And then we realized, because we had seen the deer out there in the orchard, we realized the deer were eating and they had babies too. So, they all were eating those green apples. Yeah, it'll be risky. You'll have to cover them at night. But they'll be on the deck. Okay. Oh, you're going to harden them off then. Oh, okay. Not in the ground. We don't have a yard to plant them in the ground. Oh, you do all container. Okay. All right. It's like catnip. Yeah, right. Deer nip. Yeah, when our front field, we have two fields that get farmed by a farmer that rents from us, front and back, and he alternates between corn and soybeans. And when they plant that front field in the soybeans, those deer come for about 3 or 4 days, and they're in that field all the time. They're eating that, but it's not like they can eat enough because it's such a huge field. At least I've never had the farmer, say, can I come shoot those deer? Because of deer damage. It isn't ever enough, but they do love those brand new shoots out of the ground. Well, who doesn't like bean sprouts? That's something else I haven't done forever and a day. Sprout my mung beans for my stir fries. I need to do that too sometime. I get lazy and I forget about this stuff that I can do, you know. Actually, I think I have to order some sprouting seed. I don't think I have any right now. It's been forever since I've done any. Guitar Nut says, oh, I mentioned that you were going antiquing on Tuesday. You saw the cool spinning wheel I found. Yes. You also found an amazing old school pressure canner, metal on metal seal. Oh, wow. I don't think I've ever seen one like that. I've only ever seen pressure canners with rubber seal. Well, that's interesting. Did it still have the same kind of release valve? You know, that sits on top and rattles? Or did it have a different release mechanism too? I wonder how old that is. I did not grow up with people canning things. My parents had a garden, but they put everything in freezer, and before they actually owned a freezer, they finally got their own freezer, but our small town had a what they called a locker, meat locker, and they did meat processing, but you could rent what looked like a little ice box, and you just would take your stuff, and she would, once a week, she'd go to the locker and get stuff out of there and take it home, put it in the fridge, you know. That was probably late 50s, really early 60s. You bought it? Oh, okay. Okay. The weights were there, too, for different pressures. Okay. You haven't had time to research it. Oh, well, you post a picture then. Crafty Lady says, my grandmother can, but my mother only did freezer stuff, so I taught myself to do a lot of it over the years. Yeah, the amazing thing, Guitar Nut, you are right. is that it was a community thing. You rented the locker, because this was, nobody bought their own standalone freezer. They only had what came with the refrigerators, and of course early refrigerators were not much either as far as freezer space. So it was a memory that I'm not sure a lot of people ever ran into something like that. Maybe so in bigger cities, but this was a little town because they were processing the meat from the dairy farms that the Amish had outside of the city, right? So they would have meat to process. So it was a meat processing plant, but it was also then storage. Would be so much cheaper than doing it yourself at home. I cannot remember if they actually, I seem to have the memory that they bought meat there too, but I really can't say for sure. But I know that here in Kentucky we have something similar quite a ways away from us. I mean, not local, but you basically buy the meat from a quarter or a half of a steer. They process it and they sell it to you. And I don't know whether they have actual storage, but it would be so far away it wouldn't be economical to use it. This was very, very close to where we lived. But I looked into buying the meat from the place that's nearby here, or reasonably nearby here. We have never had the fencing or really are set up to raise anything big like a calf or cow, although my neighbor does. And at the time I thought, well, maybe he'd let me buy a half of steer from him. But it turns out he didn't do too much for himself either. He just took the cows when he was ready to take them into the the auction house. He was just selling on the hoof. I think the thing that decided me against getting a side of beef is the fact that you have to take all of the cuts. So there's a lot of stuff you have to figure out what to do with that wasn't part of our regular, I don't want to say diet, what we enjoy eating, right? And I wasn't sure I was experienced enough with, that kind of meat that we just never bought, so I've never had a lot of experience cooking to make it where we would eat it. So, now I went the other way, really. I started cutting out how much meat we ate. which is better for us anyway. You've been saving up and working on fencing for the last year or so, buying what you can and setting it up. It's very expensive. Yes, it is very expensive. And constant maintenance. Good fences make good neighbors. My neighbor's fence runs the entire length between our properties, and he keeps it up because he keeps cattle there, and he doesn't want them wandering through the fence somewhere. So he paid for it all, and he never has asked if we would partake. Sometimes neighbors want both sets of properties to pay for fencing, but he never approached us for that. He just did it, and we never worried about the property line. I think he probably had the property line marked before he put his fence up just to be legal, but it really didn't bother me where he put it. It looked right. We mow so much already, it was like, oh good, we don't have to mow that. If the lands were ever sold, his or ours, I'm sure that would come under investigation. So that might be in our future if we decide to move from here. I have a map. What do you call it? A geological map of our property, where it shows the property lines and where they're supposed to be. I do have that. Doesn't really help me because I don't have the tools to tell, like a surveyor would, if it's actually on that or not. What parts was I unsure of as far as cooking? You got organs, and you got a lot of cuts of meat that I didn't recognize the name for. I'm pretty sure they would be like what we get for roasts. And the grocery stores probably have standard names that they use, that when you look at a cow and they outlined a cow, it didn't have those names, right? That was another part of it. And you could choose how much you wanted ground into hamburger. That also would have helped because I can always use hamburger. But yeah. Guitarnut says, I luckily live right next door to a farmer. They raise sheep, goats, pigs, ducks, chickens. Katidan, hair sheep. You can't. I have tried it once. Seriously, it's not worth it. But the nice thing is you can probably get it by just grabbing handfuls. They rue. They shed. You don't really have to share them, from what I understand. Nuts says, I want to put a goat in my friend's backyard to help keep the underbrush from getting out of control. They do a good job. We have down the road, there's actually in the valley where I live in, there's actually 2 herds of goats. They're little. They are meat goats. They are not milk goats. They might be boar goats because they look littler to me. But yeah, their fields that they are in they look like they've been mowed, right? They just twigs, anything, right? Except big trees. are gone. They clean it right up. The funny names of different cuts are often the more recognizable cuts butchered differently. Okay. Well, you know what? This was pre-Google days. I had to, whatever information I got, I was getting out of cookbooks. And bottom line, I was of the opinion that when you have different cuts of beef, you have to cook them different ways, right? Some are better braised, some are better fried, some not necessarily. Most are not best fried. I'm talking about, the meat being edibly tender or cooked through or whatever. In other words, the cooking method is different on a lot of different cuts of beef. And I think I was a little concerned that when I didn't recognize the cuts of beef, I wouldn't know how to cook it. Boer goats tend to be, they're larger. Oh, well, these are really small. Maybe they're a mini breed. I mean, I raised milk goats, and I raised Alpine and Saanen. Saanen were big. They were big. Alpine was smaller. But these goats that are around, they're obviously not milk goats, and they are quite small. That's funny. I always thought Boer goats were small. Thank you. I did not really realize they were bigger. Maybe I got that feeling because from what I understood, the people that raise them often raise them for certain religious holidays on some of the religions, and I was thinking that they were doing the whole goat, but maybe they were just doing the young ones. Some are better in stew while others are yummier on the grill. That's right. That's exactly right. I have never had much luck with stew beef. You know, you go to the grocery store and you have these cuts of meat that they call stew beef. I have finally ended up making my stew in the oven instead of on top of the stove with less liquid, because just boiling, I always thought you would boil the stew beef, but that actually was making it tough. So now I bake my stew. I don't know if anybody else ever does it that way or not, but it has liquid in it. It's not dry bake. That sounds good. Boy, I haven't had a thing of stew for a while. Carrots and potatoes and celery and onions and all sorts of good stuff. The Boer goats that you're used to seeing at the stock show are bigger than a German Shepherd, but very well muscled. Okay. You always put your stew in the crock pot. Yeah, that's another good way to do it. Anybody cook with an Instapot? I can't convince my husband that we should get one. He raises his eyebrows at new technology, but my daughter loves hers. I know that. I told him it was just a better crock pot, but that didn't help because he doesn't like food that's cooked in a crock pot because it all tastes, it all tastes the same. Everything gets cooked really, really overcooked unless you add stuff at different times, which I never usually do. I was using it more when I was working. It's just really expensive rice cooker. Crafty lady says she loves it. Okay. I have a rice cooker. I love my rice cooker because I always would, the rice would boil over on my stove. I always had my rice water all over the stove. And that doesn't happen in the rice cooker. I do. I love my rice cooker. You use your Instapot all the time? Okay. Instapot is just a name brand pressure cooker. Okay. Yeah, but they always said you didn't do things like rice in a pressure cooker because of that spout thing. So they improved the design that way. They said, it could clog the pressure release thing. Guitar Nut, what's your favorite meal? No more spewing rice or green beans out of the spout. Yeah, you're right. Oh, well, okay. I'll take either. I was talking about the Instapot, but, we can talk about favorite meals in general. I think mine is spaghetti. I love to eat. I love all kinds of food, but I used to say it was pizza. I've kind of burned out on pizza, I guess. We don't eat it that often, but I'm finding that the times I go out to eat and we get a pizza, I'm just not enjoying it like I used to. We had a pretty good pizza today. I liked the crust, but they didn't get the ingredients distributed very well. And so you had a whole bunch of cheese in one place and, the meat and stuff in another. Kitchen must have been in a hurry. You're a foodie? Egg cups with sausage or bacon and cheese for breakfast. I love cooking my dry beans in it to make homemade hummus. Oh, wow. And moldy bean chili. Very cool. Especially the hummus. I love hummus. Yeah. So your egg cups are the meat in there, and then an egg broken on top and cooked. Are you doing that in the Instapot? So many good recipes and garlic mashed potatoes. Oh, yeah. I have never made hummus. I could not get soybeans cooked the one time I tried to cook them. Of course, I wasn't using a pressure cooker or anything, but I thought I could cook soybeans like you cook navy beans, you know. I couldn't get them to cook. And also, I had read that you put some ginger, a slice of ginger in there, and oh my gosh. Now, I'm talking, I was young. I was really new at cooking. Okay, this was back in the late 70s. And there was so much ginger. I don't know, I didn't think I put that much in there, but it was fresh ginger, and it was so strong. I had threw those. I threw them out. I couldn't eat them. They didn't cook well anyway. I don't know how to cook soybeans. I just buy hummus now. Like scrambled eggs with sausage and peppers and green beans and garlic, yes. In a silicone egg cup holder. Okay, they're like mini muffins. Okay. Oh, hummus is chickpeas. Well, you know what? I was cooking soybeans. Huh. Now I'm not sure I was cooking it for hummus. I think I was just cooking soybeans because I was all into the vegetarian thing. You know, now that I think about it, because that was that period of time when I was trying to be vegetarian. So, yeah, you're right. Chickpeas. Thank you. I might have better luck with that. You like to make a dish in the Instapot, not sure the name, 1 or 2 ham hocks, the really smoked ones, red potatoes, and cabbage, yes. Seasonings are pickling spice, ooh, and a cheesecloth, and some bay leaves. Well, now that's interesting seasoning, but that sounds good. I love cabbage and potatoes. I make stuffed cabbage leaves, where I roll, I make rice and put tomato, hamburger, or if it's vegetarian, I don't put the hamburger in, seasonings, anything like that, and roll it up into the cabbage leaf, and then put those rolled up balls of cabbage and filling, and pour tomato juice over it and cook it in the oven until the cabbage is done. You have to parboil the cabbage so it's soft enough to form it, but that's, yeah, stuffed cabbage, yeah. A recipe section would be lovely. Well, I can do that. I won't be adding to it, though. I don't want to have the time, I don't think. But deconstructed, I've heard of that cabbage roll. It's layered, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Crafty lady, I think. Wait, man, I missed some here. Let's see. I don't care for curry. Let's go back up here a little bit. We got the pickling spice with cabbage leaves. Okay. And rice is easy, right? And then you're doing curry rice, probably. You were raised by your great aunt, and she made that all the time. Stuffed cabbage, Crafty says, I don't like cabbage roll, but I do like it deconstructed. Oh, okay. So, yeah. I will confess that I don't eat the entire cabbage leaf when I do stuffed cabbage rolls. Where it's got a head of lettuce and you can tell the base of a leaf and then it goes out. Well, I eat all that tender part, right, in the filling, but I might not eat it all. Hummus is a Mediterranean bean dip made from chickpeas. Yeah. I know it. I love it. I love it with crackers and pita chip crackers. And I have smeared it on tortillas that I've toasted a little bit and rolled up. I've eaten it that way a lot too. The hummus I buy has a lot of garlic in it. I'm pretty sure that's pretty traditional, but I could do with a little less garlic. I don't mind garlic. It's just I think the chickpeas need some oomph. The vein is tough, but deconstructed, all chopped up, it gets cooked better. Okay. Same with fried cabbage and bacon. Oh, I haven't done that forever. And soups. Cheddar broccoli and okay, here we go. Now, I don't know halushki. I mean, so many soups, so little time. Oh. Alright. We're going to open up the Discord. And we're going to go down here. And we're going to add a channel. Oh, channel name. I was looking at it. I was going to say, where's the channel name? What do we want to call it? What should we call it? Not recipes? That's boring. Plus, you can take frozen chunk of ground beef and put that in the Instant Pot with a cup of water, and 19 minutes later, it's cooked, juicy, and ready to add to your recipe. Woo! Better than nuking it. It never thaws right. You've used hummus instead of mayo on a sandwich. Oh, yeah. Stomach cravings. That's what you want to call it? That sounds good. Midnight, no, I don't want to put midnight snacks. That's too limited. How about feed me? Sorry. Oh, it won't put an exclamation point in the title. Well, that's too bad. Same as guacamole. No, guacamole is only good on a chip. A good salty tortilla chip. Where'd it put it? It's at the bottom. All right, there we go. I will put a little topic thing here. Help if I could spell. All right, have at it, folks. Oh, No, no, no. It goes on veggies as a dip and crackers and on sandwiches and burgers. Okay, haluski. Chopped cabbage, bacon, fatty ham, onions, butter, egg noodles. Fry the bacon ham. Get some grease going. Yeah, okay. Add the onions. Okay. Get them nice and translucent. Drain a little grease if you're scared, or embrace it. Yeah. Those were not great hours of your life anyway. Add the whole head of chopped cabbage. It will wilt down. Saute until brown. Okay. Move on to a serving dish pot. Mix in the noodles. Oh, so you've cooked the noodles separately. Okay. With the sauteed goodness and eat. Oh, butter noodles. I mean, I could eat buttered noodles. Yeah, right. But that sounds wonderful too. Those are not the great hours of your life. You guys are great. You guys are great. You make me laugh. Such a joy. I have a problem. I need to trade in my husband for somebody that eats like I do. He wouldn't touch cabbage. He doesn't even want to be in the same house if I cook cabbage. Yeah, it's a problem. He'll eat buttered noodles though, so we could just do 2 pots, and I'll put buttered noodles into my cabbage mixture and we'll be all good to go. Okay, haluski is same as your fried cabbage dish, but with the addition of noodles. Nice, nice, yes. Ooh, garlic sesame noodles. Now, see, I have seen the cabbage and kielbasi. Absolutely seen that. And when I was talking about stuffed cabbage, I have used sausage, ground sausage too, instead of hamburger. Yeah, I mean, cooking is a pleasure that takes time. And, you know, so often life gets in the way of having that time. It's a pleasure because it is really, truly fun to have others to share what you enjoy, that they also enjoy, right? So that is part of it too. And if that's not in your life at the moment, then, you know, cooking kind of can be a hit and miss thing. I think that a lot of older senior citizens really give up on cooking, and I hope not to do that as I get older, since I'm already old. We'll just say older. Tuna casserole is another one of my favorites. Scalloped potatoes, shepherd's pie. Yep. Barbecue pork with homemade spicy country barbecue sauce. And I don't do spicy, but I love ribs with just a sauce. You put crawfish, etouffee, and pies into its... Well, thank you. That was fast. Pics of recipe cards. You got New Orleans. Okay, that's cool. Have you made them? Have you actually made them? I made meals for an other lady here because she doesn't eat properly. So I tend to do big batch meals, yeah, like this, and I can freeze individual portions for her. I know a lady who lived beside my mom. She helped take care of my mom, and she cooked for my mom in my mom's last 2 years of her life. And you know, that's such a blessing because I know mom just didn't have the heart to try and make any kind of major meal, but she loved it when she would get something and, oh, Darlene is having this for supper tonight, and it's going to be so good. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to do. Bless you for doing it. So about once every 2 weeks, you take about a dozen meals to her. Oh, yeah. Yes, you made them and it was yummy. Okay. Cool. I wonder if I can... Where'd you get crawfish? I'm not sure I can get crawfish. Oh, it's raining. Oh, a nice gentle rain outside. Sounds wonderful. Guitar Nut says one of your best friends in the world lives about 800 miles apart now, and I live about 800 miles apart now. We call and FaceTime each other and cook a chosen dish together. Oh man, that's so nice. For about an hour or so, then report back on results. Yeah. That is awesome. I agree, Crafty Lady. That is just really cool. Oh, Guitar Nut, yes. She passed 2 years ago in August. It's not been quite 2 years, but it was in 21, August of 21. So, yeah, that's fine. I understand. Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's, even after all these years, I miss her very much. I miss talking to her. But, yeah. She was alone for so many years, and she did so good, and then she fell and broke her foot. And after that, she just could not get around very well anymore. It healed, but it didn't heal quite right, I don't think. Okay, freezer section of Walmart. And, I'll use shrimp then. Because I love shrimp. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. That would be a great thing to substitute. You can get anything at Walmart. I think I might buy the crawfish just to see my husband's face. Mess with his mind a little bit. I didn't stretch or nothing today here. I need to... Ooh, goodness gracious. Okay, chain ply ball in the Discord. Took me an hour. Yeah, but... That's because you kept typing. You had to put it down to type. You were doing it while we were doing this. Oh wow, there's stuff in the feed me already. Oh, those look good. I see the hot. Or is that beer in the bottle? Oh yeah, that looks good. That's the Romney. Okay. Hey, you did great. That really looks nice. Make a pretty sweater. And don't ask me. I don't have enough for a sweater. I'm sure you can find. Well, it's a question of whether you like the way it felt, though. If you knit a hat or a scarf, or I don't know if you'll have enough, but man, we had to sit on that box in order to get it to shut. So I didn't end up sending a whole lot. Well, I am not going to get. I'm going to be one bat left because I'll be honest with you guys, I gotta call it a night here. Now, let's see here. Sunday, I won't be here. But maybe I'll sneak. I think I'll try and stream on Saturday. So one day we're going to be home. So if I finish that one bat tomorrow, I'll probably be plying this on Saturday. Or I could go another. I could go maybe another half. I really need a break though. Nope. Stick with the plan here. Aw, Newman's scratching at the door. He says, "You've been in there a long time." You might drag your friend to the local yarn store for a local yarn store day if it works out. Okay. There's a cool battleship you can tour downtown. And we've planned to do that. Oh. Saturday is local yarn store day. I didn't know that. Like, you need any more yarn? Well, I'm going to a yarn store on Sunday. I can't make it on Saturday because we aren't going to be there Saturday. We're going to be there Sunday. But I'll go Sunday. This Sunday. Yeah, like I need any more yarn. Right. Darn, that says me too. Yeah, I know. Did you guys hear me at the very beginning of the... I was talking about sorting stuff out. I have just downstairs, not even upstairs, 5 boxes of hand spun yarn. I've got to sell some, so I have too much yarn to... It's not commercial yarn. I know. That is the truth. It's going to take time because I need to figure out a pretty good yardage. I've been looking into pricing, and pricing kind of depends on, what I paid for the fiber, which is all over the board because I buy fleeces and I buy prep stuff. So it's going to take a little bit of going back into my notebooks and looking for when I actually made it. I only really, when I tie up a skein, like finish this one and, put it on the nitty knotty and a 2-yard skein, and I tie it about 4 places, and I put 1 tag on it, and I put the fiber type, I put the ply, I put the yardage that I got from the 2-yard skein thing. I don't weigh it. I don't mark down the source. Sometimes I do, but like if I bought the fiber already processed, I don't always put the name of where I bought it, and I definitely don't put the price of what I paid for it. I just started last year putting the year on it, which, I didn't really think was ever important, but yeah, right. No, the linens would be a booth at a not antique, but where people rent booths, they do sell antiques. Peddler's Mall. They're called Peddler's Mall. And there's 2 things wrong with the yarn selling there. I can't begin to get that mentality that shops there are going to only compare it to what you can buy at Walmart, right? They don't understand hand spun. The second thing is, I don't really care if the linens walk off, disappear, whatever, which could happen, but I would care if hand spun disappeared. So the selling of hand spun is going to be more controlled environment, through fiber fairs and stuff like that, and through the internet. That's really the only way that I think I'm going to try doing it. Oh, it's been wonderful. You guys, thank you so much. Every one of you, Crafty Lady, Guitar Nut, every one of you. I don't know what happened to Kay. I think she fell asleep. She always says hello, and I always never see her again. But Knots and Stitches, thank you so much for all the conversation tonight. It made my night fly. I really enjoyed it. And you're all adding recipes, so go for it. That's wonderful. I'll enjoy that too. Meanwhile, have a great weekend. I'll see you on Saturday. I think I may try Saturday evening like this because I think a lot of times people have errands and stuff to do on Saturday. So I've always avoided streaming on Saturdays for that reason. I know people need it as a day to do things. So, but maybe I'll try the evening one, either 6 to 8 or 7 to 9 on Saturday. And you all have a great rest of your week. Good day tomorrow, and sleep well.
But with BetterHelp, it's just so
Take care.
Therapy that
Bye.
works for your budget. Get started.